Hello, and welcome to another episode of Not That Off the Record, This Off the Record, officially named in Rolling Stone magazine the hardest to say podcast name.
Hardest to remember. I always
Hardest to
forgot
remember,
what it was.
most embarrassing to say. If you really want to ensure no one wants to listen to your podcast, try to make it as long and confusing as ours. Again, this is Not That Off the Record, This Off the Record. I'm Rich.
And I am Nick.
And we're back in the saddle again, as our hero Steven Tyler once said.
Steven Tyler frequents the Two Boots Pizza down here, I guess. And,
Two Boots?
Yeah, I heard a story about how he went to the bathroom once and didn't shut the door behind him. Like all the way, just like sort of left it cracked, and and a customer, or not a customer, sorry, a worker walked in on him, defecating, and I guess he like screamed in a perfect Steven Tyler scream.
Going down!
But yeah, shouts out to that shrunken head.
I had Two Boots Pizza in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, it's the same company. I'm pretty sure they're only in Nashville, New York, and maybe LA. I'm not sure.
The big three markets.
Yeah, the big three. The Nashville's sort of like the third coast, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's why they call it the third city.
Yeah, they call it the number three. Big three. You got the Big Apple.
Yeah. LeBron James is New York. Dwayne Wade is Los Angeles, and Chris Bosh is Nashville. Yeah. Everyone knows it. There's no. Why are we even talking about this? Everyone knows this is fact.
It's clear. It's a very, very common analogy. I'm sitting in my bed to do this one, so I'm really hoping there's a lot of mattress spring sounds as I shift around and fidget with my body.
I'm recording this while jerking off, so I'm hoping for the same thing. It's a lot of fidgeting and springs.
There's a lot of springs involved.
It's a complicated process, but it works.
Hey, whatever gets you there, man. I have to still watch those Jimmy Johnson erectile dysfunction commercials like I did when I was 12.
I thought you were saying you watch them for fun.
I just watch them for fun. I just watch them. Those and Girls Gone Wild videos.
Oh, yeah. I remember feeling so bad about watching one of those as a child that I told my father. And when I say I was a child, I mean I was like legitimately in 5th grade.
Yeah.
Like I was old enough to be like, these are boobs. Nice. But I was like, nope, Dad must know I watched it without his permission.
You just have to get permission next time.
I asked his permission to swear. 6th grade, I was like, Dad, a bunch of kids in Central are swearing. They were square dancing.
Yeah.
And they were swearing while doing it. And
as
I was
a
like,
tradition.
Dad, yeah, for sure. It's Central Illinois. Central Illinois? Central Middle School. And I was like, can I swear all the other kids are doing it? And he was like, yeah, sure. Just make sure no teachers hear you. So the next day I was looking for reasons to like say my first swear.
Nice.
Like I was like looking around, like looking, is there a shit here? Is there a fuck? Can I send a fuck? Am I ready for a fuck? Is fuck for the first time too much? Oh, I'm not sure if I'm ready to fuck for the first time. And then I saw a girl's butt crack creeping out of her jeans, and I ran up to a kid after class, like, dude, you see Stephanie's ass crack? And he was like, no. I was like, oh, it's out there, man. Also, her name was not Stephanie.
Yeah.
I changed it, but I definitely know her name.
Oh, I was wondering because that pause was dubious. I remember that when I think the first time I really swore was me. I don't know if I should change the names. Me and my friend Peeve, and we're walking home from school. I remember we used to walk.
Peeve Russian?
Yeah, Peeve Russian, and we were walking with this girl whose name is this very, very famous town with a very, very famous American university in it in the Boston area. Her and then my crush.
Paris, Harvard?
Yeah, Harvard. You remember Harvard. And then my crush at the time, which we all know was Belly Schmurda. Bobby Schmurda.
Belly Schmurda.
And I remember swearing for the first time then because I thought it would make me very cool and make that girl like me. And then I moved away, thankfully, before I could do anything else.
Before
Stupid.
she could have her child.
Before she could have her child. That's right, before she could have our child.
That's so weird because I remember Steve French told me that same exact story. I wonder if it happened to someone.
Yeah, it's probably. I don't know who that is, but.
So this is the first time we've ever done a sequel record.
Really? Oh yeah.
So this is the very popular sequel to the album Puberty.
Puberty. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that one's a lot weirder than this one.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like the first one was probably better, just because the sequels are never as good.
Oh, absolutely not.
Do you want to announce what we're listening to?
We're listening to Mitski's Puberty 2 today. And by listening, I mean talking about it, probably. I think.
Yeah. Hopefully. I've only listened to it like 3 times.
Really?
2 times in headphones. Yeah, I haven't listened to it that much.
Dang, I listened to it like 100 times. I've listened to it a lot since I got the record, I will say.
I have a hard time when I listen to music of, I think we've gone over this before, of like actually hearing what the artist is saying.
Oh, right.
So like for her slower songs, when it's like 100% intended to like hear what she's saying, like I'm I'm not into this because I can't understand you.
What? Do you have some sort of speech?
I don't know. It's like it's the same thing with. I think so. It's like the same thing with like Hamilton.
The play.
Any sort of musical, like, yeah, any sort of musical. It's like I seriously am having a hard time understanding like the feelings they're going through because I can't comprehend their words as quickly as they're saying them.
That's very interesting. I don't think we have gone over this before because I find that like you're saying the clearer the words are, the harder of a time you have.
Not even. It's just like I definitely would. I'm gonna say like even when the even when the music was unclear or maybe distorted, I still did hear what she was saying. But I was enjoying it more because I liked what was accompanying the words.
Okay, got it.
So I picked 3 songs that I liked and 1 song that I skipped. Because that's what we do here every week. Every week?
Every week. No. Oh, absolutely. We're still doing this every week.
No, we record these every week
we
only put out the best of the best. So if you're listening to this right now, this is as good as we think we are.
This is as good as it gets.
And I'm not saying like as good as it gets for us. I'm saying as good as any podcast can possibly be.
Yeah, this is the pinnacle.
Because we are officially White House rejected. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, Barack
that's
Obama.
Why I think this is. I feel comfy talking to you.
I mean, I assume that Barack reviewed every single one of our released episodes to make his decision. So
that was good.
I also enjoyed. Build a spill.
I'm also depressed.
Oh my gosh. I just spilled all over myself, but not on my beautiful, beautiful computer, so it's okay.
Oh man, how much money did you pay for your computer?
$1 million. I paid pretty close to $1,000, I think. Because I paid for like
little, huh?
Yeah, I paid for like the insurance and I
got that too, but I paid more.
I got the teacher discount though.
Of course.
Yeah.
Teachers get everything.
Yeah, we get everything. It's fucking great. Freaking great.
Freaking.
Freaking great. Yeah, sorry, it's summer now, so I'm all loosey goosey with my that's the first time I've actually ever sworn.
I'm gonna have to call my dad and see if it's okay to listen to swears.
Yeah, see if it's okay to publish swears on the internet.
So what is your third favorite song?
This
if
is.
you don't mind me asking.
I mean, I do, but I guess we should get this moving along. My third favorite song. This is actually really hard for me because I do really love this album. I think "Thursday Girl" is probably my third favorite song. "Fireworks" is like a really close fourth. It might really be my third favorite song, but they go back and forth for me.
Cool.
Yeah, I know. I'm very complicated. I'm very deep. I've got a lot of opinions about a lot of things. Just hard for me to come to decisions because my brain's so big.
Sure. Mm-hmm. It's bulging out of your skull right now.
That's right. I'm going to the hospital right after we record this.
I'm glad you have your priorities straight.
Oh, absolutely.
What's your favorite part of Thursday Girl? Mine is when she says, "On my knees."
My favorite part, I just like when I hear the song. When I heard it for the first time, I think of like friends I've had or people I know that. Because there's like dynamics to the lyrics. Because it's like there's like an idea of worthlessness, like low self-worth. Like, oh, I understand that I'm not worth anything now, so I want someone to like. To me, it's like a girl who finds out that she's like the Thursday girl. She's like the second fiddle. She's not someone's main girl. She's someone who's being played basically. And she goes out to try and like she's depressed about it or sad about it, and it's like, oh, whatever. I just want to go like hook up with someone because I'm shit. Like obviously that's like my worth, and she wants someone to tell her like no, like don't do that. You're worth more than that. And I mean. Mitski's voice is just so beautiful, so whatever she's talking about, I'm like, oh wow, like this is controlled emotion here, like I'm feeling it. So even when she's just like, tell me no, like over and over again, I'm like, oh man, this is beautiful. It's like being in church. How I assume being in church is like, I don't really.
Take me to church.
Yeah, it's like just like that song, which is clearly the best song ever recorded in American music.
It's true. That guy really loves church.
Yeah, he just wants to be taken there. It seems even really like he just doesn't have a car right now.
When I saw Comedy Bang Bang Live, you could tell that they were very much out of it because they're on like their 40th show in like 25 nights or something.
Oh, yikes.
And Scott said that they were doing a bit where they were just like improvising what they thought the lyrics to "Take Me to Church" was. So just be like, "Take me to church, I'm dressed like a dog and I'm going to church. I put on a collar cause I want to go to church." So now whenever I hear that song, that's all I can think of. I feel like I almost skipped Thursday Girl because that was the one that appealed to me least, not understanding a word she was saying.
Right. When you said that, I knew that would be one of the songs because it's very, very minimal. Like it never picks up. It's all just like atmospheric music.
Right.
But I think I don't know. I typically don't like that type of stuff. Like Carl is much more into. I feel like into
PBR&B.
Yeah, PBR&B, PBR Pablos, like much more into music that sounds like that. But on this record, I liked the more minimalistic, almost like atmospheric stuff. I mean, I liked a lot of it, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, I think part of my disappointment in like initial listens of this album is that I was hoping for a heavier sound than I got.
Right.
Because the single is what dragged me in, and that's what made me like be interested in listening to her. But her first album, the Makeout Point or whatever it's called.
Makeout Point. Bury Me at Makeout Creek.
Yeah. That's almost all that kind of music. So you can't always go what you want, as my uncle Mick once said.
Yeah, Richie's very rich.
Hey, I mean, you know what? If you start me up, I'll never stop.
Unfortunately.
My number
Whoa.
3 song.
Sorry, I just said burn with a bunch of liquid in my mouth. What's your number 3 song, Rich?
My number 3 song is a lovely song. It's so lovely. I love it. It's lovely, and it's called "A Loving Feeling."
Ooh, little bit of rocker for you.
Yeah, like I said, I was expecting a certain sound. Yeah, it's a good song. It's rocking.
Shut it down. Let's try this again tomorrow. And we're back.
Yeah. Wow! I'm full of energy, and I love a loving feeling because I really like how they say, "What do you do with a loving feeling?" With a loving feeling, it makes you feel all alone.
That's a good one, Rich.
What a great song! I love it so much.
Do you ever held anyone's hand underneath the table?
Yeah, my brother's, and if by hand you mean his dick. God. I really do like the sentiment of "You only love me when we're all alone."
Yeah, I mean I think it plays into the Thursday Girl thing too, which is the song before it, where it's like, do you really like me or do you just like me when no one's watching?
Yep.
Because I feel like that happens to a lot of people, honestly, where they get used like that, you know? Someone is almost on like a little power trip. Like,
Yeah.
I'll do whatever I want, whenever I want.
So the best of us.
Yeah, happens to the best of us. For absolutely. The best of us being your Uncle Mick. And
She also has a line. It's kisses like pink cotton candy. Talking to everyone but me. I'm staying on later just in case you come up and ask to leave with me. Which is actually really, really interesting because I once French kissed a girl. She was a model. And when I pulled back, I thought we were tonguing because, French kiss.
Right.
And it was just pink cotton candy.
That's weird. Did she have a
tongue?
tongue?
She didn't have a tongue. She also didn't have a personality.
She was a model. Who cares about her personality, bro?
Yeah, right. Turns out I was at a carnival and I was just eating cotton candy.
Time to have another one of my hallucinations.
But man, for those 15 minutes, I was in love.
For those 2.5 hours.
Hey, Rich, you want to go on the zipper? Nah, man.
I'm making up my girl.
This is Becky. With the good hair, right?
Just leave him, man.
This happened last week.
I Love and Feeling and My Body's Made of Crushed Little Stars are in the same category for me, where they're the more rockin'.
Me too.
I was assuming that's where you were going, but my number 2 song is A Burning Hill.
A Burning Hill?
A Burning Hill. That's my number 2. And it could easily be my number 1, if not for both of our number 1 songs.
You're sure right.
Because for me, the A Burning Hill, it reminds me a lot of, I don't know, just like, we both clearly have talked about One Foot in the Grave 100 times on this podcast, probably.
Beck's album, One Foot in the Grave.
Yeah, it reminds me of something like that, where it's very, very minimalistic musically. If I was like a dude who reviewed albums on YouTube, I would say sonically there. Like it's minimalistic sonically, but I'll say musically because I'd like to be a little bit less douchey.
Also, you only listen to reviews of Sega Genesis games.
Yes, only. It's that. Some early Madden soundtracks, MLB baseball. The other game I had that was a lot like Sonic, but it was like a knockoff Sonic where you were a dinosaur in a castle and you were running around.
Sunuk?
That doesn't sound familiar, man.
It wasn't Sunuk?
I don't know what Sunuk is. That's not even a real thing.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure it was Sunuk. Sunuk the dinosaur?
Yes, yes. Everyone's favorite video game, Sunuk, the Dino, the Dino Knight. I'm going to look it up after we finish here, but I'd like to point out with a Burning Hill, just like in Fireworks too. I like when she talks. I mean, I think Mitski does a good job about talking or writing about just like normal everyday stuff and making it sound more significant than it is, because that's how like everybody views their own everyday crap that they go through.
Right.
So it's like on Burning Hill and Fireworks, there's allusions to like, yeah, I'm just gonna give up and like be an adult. You know what I mean? Like I'm tired of caring about crap. Like on Fireworks, she says, I will go jogging routinely, calmly and rhythmically run. Like that's like something that people do all the time, and it's like a major part of some people's everyday life routines. They don't really even think about it, and they just get used to doing that thing just to do it. And on A Burning Hill, she says, I'll wear my white button down to start both verses, and that's obviously like a symbol for I'm just gonna be boring like everybody else because I'm tired of trying to do something else, which I don't know, I could definitely relate to.
Yeah, I mean, I can obviously relate to it too.
Yeah.
I fucking hate the idea that we have to wear certain things to come off a certain way to other people, and like it's never, no one in an office is dressing how they're dressing in that office for themselves.
Yeah.
They're doing it for some sort of fucking cloud person, a white man for sure, who's looking down on them being like, this is what I want you to look like.
Right.
This is what I think the ideal is, and therefore everybody should abide by it. And all of a sudden, this is what every fucking person in an office does, except for those really cool startups where you do twice the work, but at least you have a fucking massage chair in your office.
Yeah, you can wear your flip-flops.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Devin, what's going on? Yeah, I like your fucking tank top. Here's 35 hours of work, because that's the only way you can look comfortable in this fucking world.
Woo! Yeah. I definitely relate to that probably more than any. I probably relate to Burning Hill more than any other song on the record.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely felt the burn.
What we're trying to get at, this is a
burning your bus.
A Bernie Sandersing Hill. This is my number 2 song.
Did you see that? Did you see that Hillary stuff? That email stuff? Did you see that?
Dude,
did you see that?
She was just blasting them off.
She was sending so many emails.
It was nuts.
Like, I was telling this to my friend Win yesterday. And I might as well just admit it on the podcast. All 30,000 of those emails were from me sending her requests because I wanted to see a picture of her butt.
What did she reply back? Did you get officially rejected?
Like once or twice I got like, hey, thanks for supporting Hillary. Unfortunately, her butt is busy. But it was just like, man, it wasn't for like sexual reasons or anything. I wasn't trying to objectify her. I just like, I have a collection of pictures in my room. You can see it right behind me.
Yeah, I can see it.
Of just politicians' butts. There's John McCain. There's
Bob Dole. I can see Bob Dole.
Yeah, Ross Perot. That was a good one. That was a good get. Nancy Reagan.
Wow.
Bo Obama. And the only one who really doesn't fit in is Bo Bice from American Idol.
I mean, he did run.
He ran track in high school.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that counts. But yeah, so she deletes all his emails because whatever, and now all of a sudden, like, she's the bad guy. I don't think she is. She doesn't. No one has to send me a picture of their butt. But if you're listening to this podcast right now, I do collect pictures of butts. So message me on Facebook, text me, tweet at me at Dorky But Cool. I do still have a Tout account if you want to log into Tout. Vine, just tag me at me. Instagram, you can direct message me. There's so many plethora. Oh, email or. Just write me a letter. Send me an actual picture. Wow. My address is on my presidential post on Facebook.
It's the address that Barack Obama mailed you at.
Yes, except I'm in Unit 2. It doesn't say what unit I'm in up there. So.
Wow, that would have been embarrassing if your neighbor had gotten that rejection. Then you had to own up to it.
I wish that they would have, because then they'd be like, "Hey, we got a letter for you." And
from the White House.
Richard Owens, the White House.
Yeah, they suddenly think you're very important. They start delivering all your mail to you.
And I just go like, ugh, this again.
Yeah. I don't have time for this. Richard, what is your number 2 song?
My number 2 song is obvious. It's My Body Is Made of Crushed Little Stars.
Hey, I didn't see that coming.
I didn't say it was coming.
After your explanation of your preference for the songs on the album.
Yeah. But also I really like, this is another sort of business-centric one, because I gotta ace the interview. She also has a really good line. I better ace that interview. I should tell them that I'm not afraid to die, which I think is like a really funny thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, she wants to see the whole world, but she doesn't know how she's going to pay her rent, and that's just like every single person under the age of probably 50.
Yeah, under the age of dead.
No, I only said 50 because I truly think my dad would be content with staying in Oak Forest like the rest of his life.
And just never... Oh yeah, I know my dad would... I mean, my dad would rather be like in the mountains and never see another human being again.
Yeah. We never traveled as kids because we would go to one place in Florida and be like, but there's a boat! And be like, I don't like boats. And be like, I don't care.
Yeah, I've never been to any coast. I've never been to the coast ever.
You should check it out. The ocean is there.
Yeah, I've heard about the ocean. I heard it's big, and it's
Titanic.
I just went. I heard about that one. That's a famous one. I actually watched the Titanic sink in real time at this idiot's house once. He was like, "This will be fun to put on at a party. This will get the vibe going."
It actually did. My friend, I think it was my friend Win. He was like, "That was actually like a really good way, because that's like a good way to get people to like talk to each other. Like, hey, where's the Titanic sinking at?" And like all of a sudden you're talking to a stranger, and that's just like a fun little thing.
Hey, what the hell is wrong with Richie?
Yeah, exactly. My next thing is I'm going to show Jimmy Johnson's Seattle.
If you can splice them together so it's just when he gives the recommendation. just that.
I think I can do that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, My Body's Made of Crushed Little Stars. I can't put my finger on it. I think she alludes to that type of thing on Bury Me at Makeout Creek, like the idea that we're like space dust, sort of, or everybody's made up of space dust. But I do like all the juxtapositions on that song with like, I'm not doing anything, like here I am, a piece, like I think of like me playing FIFA 2011, like it's a miracle that I exist as a being, and all I'm doing is like scrolling through Instagram for the next 30 minutes. Like I'm not doing anything. My body's made of crushed little stars, but I'm not doing anything.
I think that's true, but like I don't think inherently there's anything better. There's anything. How should I say this? I don't think going outside is any more real
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
because
know.
like you're still like you're doing what you want to do. You know, like you shouldn't be judging it just because it's superficial. Because ultimately everything is superficial and man-made and just made to enslave us.
Woo!
Yep.
I mean, you're basically right. I think I would just rather. I feel a lot worse about
Yeah,
myself when I'm sitting alone. Like
for
I don't know
sure.
if it's internal guilt or if it's external guilt. Looking on myself, like
I
I
agree
am
with
the
that.
fire, I am the forest, I'm the witness, watching it. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
great metaphor there.
I think maybe part of the reason like people do feel bad when they are just like inside all the time is because they're like spending much more time in their own heads than they normally would. Because like I can look at a skyscraper and be like, "Wow, that's really tall. I'm glad I'm seeing this," and that's like all I'm going to be thinking about.
Right.
Or if I'm like walking in a busy city, I'm not just remembering that like innocent people are being fucking murdered all the
Right.
time.
Right. You get to distract yourself from reality. And
Mm-hmm.
me and Carl were talking about this last night actually before he had to leave, and it was just I mean that idea that you have so much more access to knowing about everything that's happening all the time, and the internet obviously is the medium through which you get that information. So spending a lot of time on the internet is like making you feel connected and empathetic, and if you are
Mm-hmm.
an empathetic person you're going to feel those things, and it's hard to set those boundaries about like what can you consume, what can you be responsible for, what can you engage with, and you have to, and that's like a hard thing to do. Like that's a very, I'm looking for the word, like a very specific uh, choice you have to make, and it's hard to do. You
Right.
know, it's hard to say like, I can't even think about that tragedy. I can't because I know I have really no agency. I'm not going to bring that person or those people back, or I'm not going to. I can't. I don't know how to feed that child I saw in the picture. How do I help that specific person? And it's hard because I mean you clearly have like you can do things as a 25-year-old person living in Chicago or living in Nashville. You can do things, but even those things that you can have actual agency in, you typically don't even have control over where your efforts go. You know what
Right.
I mean? And it's hard. So then you're just discouraged from doing anything at all. But you still have that weird thing in your head like I should be doing
Mm-hmm.
something. I still care. I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I've been really more so than I ever have in my whole life. Probably, basically, like once this podcast started, which maybe says something. But I I've become so conscious of my privilege that like even sometimes I'm just like I should stop what I'm doing and give someone else a chance, or I'm not doing nearly enough, and then I start to feel bad that I'm not doing anything of note.
I'm
Um,
not doing anything. My body is made of crushed little stars. I'm not doing
exactly.
anything. No, exactly. And that's a hard place to be wedged because I was thinking about this the other day when me and Sarah were watching a documentary. Um, it was called Misrepresentation. It was basically about like media's or American culture's view of women, and then in relation to that men, like it was fine. I think it engaged a lot of stuff that needed to be engaged, but it wasn't the best. But it got me thinking about something that I always think about with writing or creating anything, where it's like they're talking about TV shows not having enough minority characters or representation. Like, you know, most leads are still white men. You know, the story revolves around the white man most of the time. Or even if there is a female character who is a lead or is the main character, their story is typically in relation to a man, this and that. And I was
Yep.
like, and something that always bothers me, and I don't know the middle ground, I don't know the answer, is like, as somebody who who likes creating things, and like if I were to write a story and I were to write it from the perspective of a gay black female, is that what I should be doing? Like, you know what I mean? Is it,
Yeah, no,
or am I
yeah.
taking the space away from a gay black female who could tell her own story? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or should I use my privilege to make that story more visible? And you know what I mean? If I, as a straight white male, have more privilege or have an advantage where people will take my work or like would read it, you know what I mean? Or, you know, because I have a hard time grasping. You're right, like you said, grasping my privilege. Like I've definitely become conscious of it, but I still have a hard time grasping
Yeah,
it
right.
sometimes in like
I
real
mean,
sense. Like I just don't know the answer there.
yeah, I've sort of not so much because I don't write as often as you do, but I've definitely thought like my goal now is to try to not gender or put a race on any of my characters, and or like at least like the main characters, because I want it to be open to whatever the person's reading.
Right.
At the same time, Hermione on the Harry Potter stage is being played by a black woman now.
Right.
Um,
And of course,
so
people
that's
are up in arms about it because they're
right.
ignorant.
And I was announced today, Iron Man is now a black woman.
Yeah, that's what Carl was telling me earlier.
And I think if you, as a straight cisgender white man, if you want to write a story that stars a gay black lady, you should be sharing it with as many gay black ladies as possible to make sure you're doing them justice.
Right. Yeah.
Because like otherwise you're just doing it like for yourself.
Like yeah, right. Then
or like
yeah.
just because like you think it's like a cool niche thing to like reach.
Exactly. That's why everything I've ever written where it engage, like, because I do like writing about race a lot because it's something that's always bothered me, or you know, it's just something that's always been present and things that intellectually stimulate me. I always try and acknowledge my perspective. You know what I mean? This is my perspective and not anyone else's, and I don't pretend to understand anyone else's perspective completely.
Right. We're just two white boys trying our best. That should be the name of the show.
Two white boys trying our best. Sometimes you fail, sometimes you succeed, and then, you know, do that a couple billion times, and then you just die. It's fine.
Yep.
Speaking of not knowing necessarily how you fit in to someone's culture or how you can connect with it, is it fair to say that both of our favorite songs on the record are Your Best American Girl?
It is very fair to say. It is undoubtedly the best song on this, and maybe it's up there with my best song of the year.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for me for best song of the year. Not that I don't consume that much music, honestly, but or like lists to me are always like, I know 4 of these things.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's definitely my favorite song that's come out this year, personally.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, just to me it sounds like if Angel Olsen decided that she wanted to write a song that sounded very similar to Teenage Dirtbag. In like the best possible way.
Right. Where I love anything that has a good build up or gets really heavy, and clearly the song has an insane, like almost orchestral build up to it that you don't really realize is happening until it has happened.
Yeah, that like also the song puts me in a place in my head that like no other song really is able to do. Like when the guitar kicks in, like when the distortion comes and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even feel like I'm listening to music. It just feels like God damn it, I hate myself. It feels like I'm like experiencing the music.
Right. I think you're just saying it just makes me feel like, damn it, I hate myself. I was like, oh, cool. No other music makes you feel like that? That's great, Rich.
Oh no. No.
No, exactly. When the distortion kicks in, there's like one particular part, and this makes me, because I really don't like when there's a lot of production to stuff usually, typically. But there's so many little sounds on this record that I feel like make the record, and there's like a little like wah. That's all, like right after that guitar kicks in, where it's just some sounds like something being run through a weird pedal that it's clearly not just like the chords. It's like some other weird sound, and that like makes the song for me. Besides it being just like a beautiful song, like that really gets me going.
Ooh. Oh boy, does it.
Oh, oh boy. Um, Also the line, uh, "Your mother wouldn't approve of how my mother raised me, but I
Yeah.
do. I think I do, or I finally do," because she changes it up. I,
Yep.
I mean that speaks to a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Does a lot with a little, which I think uh, I appreciate about
Yeah.
definitely
To
the song and her
me now,
songwriting.
like I haven't thought about this all that much, but to me right now, it just feels like she's like nervous about meeting like a white guy's parents who's going to be like, "Oh, you're not white."
Yeah, right, exactly. Because I did this song for like one of those Sabotka things,
Yeah, I remember
way
that.
back, like in like March, and I looked up some interviews that were out at the time, and she one of the interviews I read was like, yeah, she wanted to take a lot of the tropes that are typically used by like white males in like a love song, but also it is like that honest feeling of not fitting into someone's culture or not fitting
Yeah.
into someone's like what she felt was normal.
Uh huh.
She's a Asian American, or you maybe like she's been all over. Like she was from in a military family, so she lived all over growing up. So she doesn't really
Sure.
have like a culture. So she's like, oh, I could have pretended to just be American. Like, I guess, like, if that's what it took, maybe I should have just done that.
Right. That's like there's an interesting thing with The Rock, because he's half black and half Samoan,
Yeah.
and there's never been a black WWE champion besides The Rock.
Mm.
But people will often say like The Rock doesn't count,
Mm.
but it's because he's never said anything about being black.
Right.
He always talks about his Samoan heritage, and it almost seems like they're actively avoiding mentioning that The Rock is a black man.
Right. Because yeah, I mean, that's a whole conversation in and of itself. Like, mixed race, like,
I know it's nuts,
yeah, it is nuts.
but it's just like, oh, you just like Robel, our friend from Champaign and from Chicago and from everything. He is. I think we're actually going to do it this Thursday, tomorrow. I don't know if this comes out today. Come to Flatiron Comedy. We done it once before. He came up with it of getting a improv suggestion of a color that's not associated with race, and then improvising a culture
For
based on that color.
that's funny.
And it's just like to show that all of our prejudices and all of our like race and culture, like it's all like made up.
Yeah, it's constructed. Like it definitely
Yeah.
exists,
Oh
but
yeah, it all exists, but it's like all, like it is a construct.
right. I mean, it definitely affects people's lives in very concrete ways, but if it's things change, man. It's not like black culture is not the same as it was in 1700. Same as white culture is not the same as it was in 1700. It's things.
Yep.
Time changes things. Events change things. People's mindsets change things. War changes things, man.
Oh man, war.
The government changes things. God, don't get me started about the government, man.
Ooh, man. Government is fucking taking all the mints out of my pocket.
Taxing us, taking all
Taxing
my
us, taking all my fucking
lifesavers.
mints. What do you think the budget app's called Mint? Why do you think the budget app's called Mint?
Dude.
Why do you think the budget app is
It's
called
called
Mint? Why do you think the budget app is called Mint?
It's clear, man.
You decide.
This podcast is sponsored by Alex Jones and InfoWars. What is your little skip, Rich?
Purely based off of not understanding what she was saying at all. My skip song, almost entirely because of what it's called, is Crack Baby.
Right. Yeah. I want to speak towards this because I saw right after the record came out, someone was on Twitter, like she was talking to someone on Twitter about it, like saying, like the person was like, yeah, I like the record, this and this and this, but I don't like that you basically analogized addiction to like summer vacation, or like she's like basically like trivialized addiction was what the person was saying. And she was like, yeah, I totally understand that, and I maybe will regret putting this track on the record in the future, because I was like, I wrote this when I was 17, and it's like a very personal thing about someone that I knew at the time, and I can't really explain it without sharing probably too much about that person's life or experience. Right. So I sort of have to say, like, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say, because I can't explain to you what I was thinking, and I understand your criticism from an outside perspective.
Do you know how old she is now?
I think she's our age. Cool. I think she's 25.
1991, the year of our Lord.
Yep. Or 1990.
Ew.
Someone up for my 1990 boys.
Turns out she was born in June of 2016.
What?
Yep. She was created to make music.
They grew up so fast.
It doesn't say how old she is on her Wikipedia page.
Dang, dude, secret information.
Yeah.
What does the government not want us to know about Mitski?
Mitski?
Whoa.
I'm just saying, why would they name that budget app Mitski?
Right. I don't have a hometown. I grew up everywhere. I was
born in Japan.
Yeah. I was created in a test tube in a silo in Texas in June 2016.
Maybe she was born in a pan in Texas.
And there's a typo.
I was born in a pan. Japan, huh?
No, a pan.
I heard it's wonderful there in Japan. My son likes Pokemon, so I know a thing or two about Japan.
I was just talking about Japan with Sarah earlier, because she asked if we were going to ever go to an Asian country, which country would I want to visit?
You said, hell no!
I said, well, for one, I'm never leaving the greatest land ever created by God. This land.
The greatest land.
The greatest land created by our Lord. But if I had to be forced, if I was gagged and bound and thrown onto a ship headed for Asia, I would hope the ship would land in Japan. Just because Japanese culture is... I mean, I'm definitely not a Japanophile, which is, like, such a weird thing that American culture... I'll never get it, but...
There was an Onion article that said, like, poll reveals majority of Japanese speakers in the world are white.
Yeah, right. Like, I definitely went to school with a guy like that who was just, like, a typical white dude.
Why?
Yeah, a white dude from the Chicago suburbs, but he was just, like... did karate, was like very into, had like a weird like he wanted a Japanese girlfriend. It was clear that like it was like, but it was weird. It wasn't like a natural thing. It was like he wanted the aesthetic of being with a Japanese woman. It was very strange. Very strange.
pulling out a bunch of my hair as we speak.
Hey, dude,
cool.
Your hair looks great. Looks like you got a haircut.
Thank you. I did get a haircut.
For all your viewers out there, Richie has a faux hawk now.
I sure do. Have you ever heard of? There's a band. I think they're from Chicago. Let me check. Hold on. They're called Fall Out Boy.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, so I've been listening to them. They have this really funny Munsters song.
What is that?
It just sounds like. Do you remember the Munsters?
Like Eddie and Gramps?
Yeah. Except they go, instead of the Munsters, they say, and now Uma Thurman.
Yeah, shouts out to Pete Wentz. This podcast is sponsored by Patrick Stump's inexplicable weight loss.
Shouts out to the guy who plays drums. I forget what your name is, but you played in your hardcore band in my house in Champaign. And I wasn't there, but I heard you played Star Wars Battlefront on my television.
I heard you had a lot of tattoos, I remember, from the one video that I've seen.
And shout out to the other guitarist who isn't famous, because his dad did my dad's heart surgery.
That's
true fact.
Wow. You sounds like you really owe a lot to Fall Out Boy, man.
I really do. Even though that guy did fuck up the surgery, my dad would be going for another one.
Should have got Patrick Stump's dad to do it.
I said it when it was happening, but I was like, "Hey, his son sings about broken hearts, and his dad fixes broken hearts." And my dad was like, "Hey, that's good, son." And I went, "Thanks, Dad."
I'm gonna start a podcast one day.
This literally happened in October.
I've already started a podcast one day, and I will make sure to repeat this joke upon that podcast.
What's your skip?
My little skipper. I was going to say Crack Baby was up there for me, but I do like the way it sounds. But I was gonna I just don't. The metaphors aren't that they're great for me. But I would probably say. It's hard. I bet on Losing Dogs. Is probably my skipper. Once More to See You, I feel like has grown on me. Once More to See You could have been my skipper too. I think I like I Bet on Losing Dogs. If you'd asked me a week ago, I Bet on Losing Dogs would have been my skipper. But right now, Once More to See You might be my skipper because I have a hard time connecting with it because I haven't experienced that before. Like keeping a relationship secret and like it being like, oh, we need to keep this just between us. We can't let other people see it. And I talked to Emily Nigro. Shouts out to one of the 5 people that will listen to this.
Hi, Emily.
She said that Once More to See You was her favorite, or I think was her favorite song right after the record came out. So I'd be interested to know her opinions on this. Please tweet at Richie at DorkyWoodCool.
Yeah, please tweet at me on Twitter at DorkyWoodCool.
On Twitter.com. I bought a lot of stock in Twitter. I need you guys to tweet at me. Please.
Help.
Any way you can.
For only a tweet a day, you can help me.
You can help my stock not plummet.
Also, I was at a wedding last weekend, 2 weekends ago, and I saw my good friend, old friend, Molly Singgraber, who I went to high school with, but I always forget that, and we went to college together, and that's kind of how we became friends, and she told me, and I never knew this, because people don't say it, but she was like, I've listened to every episode of your podcast.
Man.
Like, oh, man. So if you're listening to this, Molly, I see you. Turn around. But really, if you do listen to this podcast, tell me.
Yeah.
Like that. Like literally hearing that one comment made me want to make more because I actually felt like people enjoy it. And when I feel like no one is listening besides our friend Marcella, Lopez and Emily Nigro, like, I feel like I should just stop putting these out.
So please boost Richie's confidence that
Please,
someone gives a shit about what he's doing.
I mean, like I said, the one main reason I wanted to take a break is because I saw 2 turds from my high school started. Not turds. Maybe they started one because they listened to us and they just never mentioned it. And then maybe I mentioned that last time.
And you were like,
2 guys from my high school who I didn't, who I was like, why would anybody want to hear their podcast? They started one, and I was like, oh, why would anyone want to hear my podcast? So I stopped. And it's very easy to beat me down if you want to do that. So, just send me hate mail.
It's really easy to build you up, though, if you want to do that. This is Project Build Up Richie. I'm starting it right now. Hashtag Build Rich Up Buttercup at Torky but Cool. I like it. I'm gonna get that going.
All right, good.
Yeah.
And speaking of going, we should get going.
Yeah. We got things to do. We're important men. We're both wearing short sleeve button up shirts right now. We're important. We got things to do. We got functions to be at. Shout out to E40.
A friend posted something on Facebook that I feel like is important to bring up on a very serious issue. With the murder that happened yesterday, I'm like fuming about it. Like, it's just
I could tell by your internet presence today.
Yeah, and like I purposely didn't want to post those to Facebook because I was just like,
you didn't want to deal with the.
I don't want to deal with
the inevitable.
Which I should, though. I should just post it on Facebook, but also like Twitter is where you're supposed to air your grievances, and Facebook is.
For sharing your podcast.
For sharing my podcast and just like the letters from the president.
Right.
But a new friend posted on Facebook that white silence is white consent. So if you see something, say something. If you care, show you care. Don't be like Justin Timberlake.
I don't even understand that.
Don't be like Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake tweeted about because that Jesse Williams or whatever that guy's name is from Grey's Anatomy at the BET Awards gave like I didn't get a chance to listen to it because the video was taken down, but gave like a big speech about like why Black Lives Matter and all this shit, and now people are like petitioning for him to be off Grey's Anatomy because they disagreed with him basically.
What?
It's nuts. But Justin Timberlake tweeted like, "Hell yeah, brother!" # like we're all the same. And some guy was just like responded like, "Pretty cool of you to say that, considering you've appropriated black culture your entire career." And Justin Timberlake was just like, "No, man, like, I care." And it's just like, well, I haven't seen any proof. And Vic Mensa was on The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore on Comedy Central, and he explained it as Justin Timberlake, when like, especially like a couple months ago when all that Black Lives Matter stuff was really happening, like when people were, like, people aren't really posting Black Lives Matter right now, even though like,
it's been going on for
so long. But right when that
point
started, like he's never tweeted his support because it wasn't safe for him, and it's like, it's all this shit like. Just because it's just like not a comfy thing for him, but all of a sudden one guy says like some good things, he's like, yeah. It's just like, yeah, I get it, you want to help, but at the same time you have one of the most viewed faces and voices in the world. So if Justin Timberlake tweets out Black Lives Matters, it matters. Right.
Sadly it takes that.
That's why did you see that John Cena video I posted the other day?
That was tight.
That like I was trying to explain it to people on the 4th of July, and they sort of were giving me a confused look. And I was just like, I know it doesn't sound like anything groundbreaking.
Right.
But like the kind of person who's willing to listen to what John Cena has to say actually needs to hear that, and it's so important that he said it.
Right, exactly. Because that's what I was thinking too. I was like, people respect John Cena. They're, not all John Cena fans or wrestling fans clearly have that have a bad, like a ignorant view, but you know, you don't think John Cena and think, oh, diversity,
Right.
tolerance. You think strong guy, you know, body slamming people in a ring and, you know, violence, where he came out and said, you know, everyone, if you love America, you need to love everything.
Love everybody.
Yeah.
And I truly think there was at least one guy in Tennessee or Alabama or something. It was like, God damn it, Cena's right.
Yeah, right.
Ma, Cena's right.
What, Jimmy?
Cena's right. Non-whites are okay.
And then the whole family just walks into the living room. And they hug it out.
Enya plays.
Yeah, they strip down their Trump and Confederate flags from the flagpole out front.
Instead of putting up like a Hillary Clinton, they put up a John Cena.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's it. I needed to at least rant a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's important. I mean,
it is important, so don't be silent specifically if you are a white person, because it's very easy to be silent, considering everything has been handed to us. And with that, for Nick and for Rich, support each other.